This is Finance Park, an economic education program located at the Gus A. Stavros Institute in Pinellas County, Florida. Each year, approximately 12,000 8th grade students visit the park for one day. Here they may find themselves single or married with 2 children and earning $25,000 a year. They will spend the day here creating and managing a family budget, one that hopefully balances. Stavros Institute is proud to have created another showcase of economic education, and as you can see, the reality again surpasses the dream. The Finance Park expansion was funded, as was Enterprise Village, through donations by the local business community to the Pinellas Education Foundation. The Institute simulates a month in the financial life of an adult for the county's 8th graders. Recognizing the benefit of hands-on experimental learning, the Stavros Institute staff decided that today's students need to learn how to handle their own personal income. They need to know how to create a budget and stick to it. One of the favorite topics of teens may be money, but do they really understand how to use money wisely? So what takes place on a typical day at Finance Park? Let's take a look. Volunteers begin to arrive for the required volunteer training before students arrive. This necessary training explains the park operation to the volunteers, thereby preparing them to facilitate the student simulation. They will guide the students through the day, answer questions, and watch for teachable moments, which allow them to discuss with the students their own real-life budgetary dilemmas. Nothing teaches better than real-life experience. Once volunteer training is over, students arrive at the park ready to assume their new life situation. Will they have a job earning a high gross annual income, married and raising a family? Or will they be single with no family expenses, wishing they earned a bit more money? The day begins with a brief meeting after which the students report to pre-assigned businesses or work areas. They are ready for the truth revealed, the first of 4 very important working periods. During the truth revealed, students receive their fictional life situation, account number, debit card, and their Finance Park portfolio, all necessary to their budget planning. They share with their friends and business partners who they are for the day and the amount of their gross annual income. Everyone is between the ages of 25 to 35, married or single, with or without children, and salaries range anywhere from the mid-20s to the 70s. After logging on to the park's network computer system, it's time to get down to work. Each Finance Park citizen, using skills learned back in the classroom, begins to calculate their net monthly income. Starting with their gross annual income and taking into consideration taxes, Social Security, and Medicare, students quickly realize just how much money, or perhaps how little money, they actually have to handle their monthly expenses. Just as in real life, a few of these students will find themselves with a little extra unexpected income. As the recipient of a lucky chance card, they may inherit a small sum from their aunt, receive a reward for finding the neighbor's dog, or maybe they just take an extra job for a short period of time. These lucky students find themselves with a little extra money to add to their NMI. Each student then establishes a minimum and maximum spending guideline. After all, a balanced budget does force one to stay within certain guidelines if all bills are to be paid. During the big surge, students leave their businesses and venture out to visit each of the other businesses in Finance Park to collect budget options. AutoNation, transportation. Similar real estate, housing. Progress Energy, electricity. And State Farm, insurance. Students pick up an option sheet that outlines the choices available to them in some budget categories. In AutoNation, students approach a touchscreen computer where they have the opportunity to view 20 different automobile choices. During the big search, there's no time for budget decisions, just time to collect all of the available options and record stock prices at Raymond James, Franklin Templeton. After 45 minutes of searching, students head back to their business to begin the third, very intense working period, the budget puzzle. This time period is well named as the work ahead of them is quite like putting together a puzzle. Starting with a selection of a house that fits their family situation, as well as their housing minimum and maximum price guidelines, they must make appropriate selections and financial decisions in every budget category. They must find answers to personal questions like, if I buy a larger house and my utility payments are more, will my income allow that? Did I remember to donate to that charity that makes such a difference in my community? And yes, I must meet any and all emergencies and plan for my future. Speaking of emergencies, during the budget puzzle, many of the students will receive an unlucky chance card. Life's little zingers come along when we least expect them. Perhaps their car broke down. Good grief! Who would have ever thought that it would take this much money just to live for a month? Finally, at the conclusion of the budget puzzle, when all budget decisions have been made, students need to total their expenditures to make sure they'll be spending less than their NMI. It certainly won't work if they're spending more money than they have. They're now ready to enter all of these expenditures on their Finance Park register. Even though they will be paying their budget bills with a debit card, they still need to keep track of money as it is spent, just like in the real world. As we all know, making decisions about what we can afford to spend is one process, but actually paying those bills is another. During the last working period, the final commitment, students will take their Finance Park register with them, leave their business, and revisit each of the other businesses to actually pay all of their bills for the month. They use their debit card and PIN number to log onto a computer in each business and make their budget payment. Should they have made the wrong decision and opted to pay an amount too high or too low, they will be stopped dead in their tracks. Only payments fitting between minimum and maximum amounts will be accepted. Once all monthly bills have been paid, Finance Park staff will be ready to help students determine if their budget planning and bill paying for the month was a complete success. By meeting with a staff member at the Lighthouse Budget Checkout area, students can determine if their Finance Park register aligns with our computerized database, therefore qualifying them for a shopping trip at the Finance Park store. After being congratulated for successfully completing their budget payments, students take their ValPack coupons and head for the Finance Park store, where they make that final purchase, something just for them. Also, during the final commitment, students have the opportunity to check on their portfolio value. They will track the performance of their stocks and calculate the final value of their investment package. After much reading, calculating, discussing, problem solving, and sharing on the part of all the students and volunteers, the day at Finance Park comes to an end. The students head back to the school, and the completion of the Finance Park study will call for the students to look at their future career goals. Now that these students know what it will take in the future to support themselves and possibly a family, it's time to think about how they will go about earning the necessary income. The experiences at Finance Park will become foundations for a successful personal and financial future.
I think it's a great experience. Like, you learn the real ways of life, how to pay for things. Like, it's something you're definitely going to be doing when you're older, so it gives you a head start.
I learned how to balance a checkbook and also how to buy things responsibly and how to, like, keep stuff organized.
Today was an exciting day with lots of running around and math. That's basically what it was.
I learned how to do a check balance, keep a check balance, and also how to budget well with money.
I learned how to make a budget, how to stay inside my budget, and still have money left over at the end of the month.